Welcome back. In this video, we will implement a edit user. So let's go to the form, user form. We can use the same form instead of creating new one. Okay, so here in user list we have this button, edit button. If you observe the existing functionality which we are following, so on clicking edit, the URL is getting changed, and 3 is the ID for the user. Okay, so we need to navigate our URL to other URL. Okay, so on clicking of this, what we have to do, we have to navigate whatever the route we have to navigate it to edit route. So for that, we need to use navigator from React Redux router. Navigator. Yes. Use. Okay, let me import it from React router DOM. Use navigate. Okay, use navigator. Okay, and here we have to use this navigator on clicking the edit button. So I will call this edit / and here we need to pass ID. For that I will use string literature. String liter. I can pass user.id. Okay, fine. Let's click on this. Yeah. So it is changing the URL. Now wherever we mention the route, there we need to write the edit route as well, and here ID. Okay, and we will call use form as it is. So what does it mean? Whatever ID we have now, we have here 1. If we can have 2 also. So this is considered as ID. So I can use that 1 or 2 or anything from the params. Okay, as ID. Okay, fine. So what I can do is, in a user form, I can create props. Okay, and I can create is edit form property here, which is like not mandatory, not required one, and it's a boolean. Here props and iProps, and from app.tsx, for this case I can set it true. Is edit form equals to true. So whenever we click on edit, this route will invoke and user form component will get called, and this property is edit form will get set. Okay, so here I am destructuring it from props. Fine. So whenever we get this property true, what we can do is we can check what is the ID which is passed, and according to that ID we can fetch the user data and we can update these properties, name and email. Okay, and if isEdit form is true, what I can do, uh, I can replace this button with else. I can keep this button, but I can change the value. How I can do is, if it's true, then update, else create. Okay, in this way. Now what I need to do is, I need to use effect to fetch the user data. Okay, whenever this property change, and when I have to do, when this property is true, then only. Okay, before that I need to take the ID. For that I can use params from React router DOM. Okay, import it from React router DOM. Use params. So use param have every params from the URL. So one is denoting to ID. Again, if I have anything else, then param will have that also. Let's use this, use params. Okay. So here I am taking this params constant. Params.id will have that 1, 2, whatever is there, but in a string form. But okay, so we need to convert that in an int. Pass int to convert it. Okay, so it is telling like it is not a case every time. Whenever, like, it can have the undefined value also. So that for that reason we need to pass empty string. Okay. So it will give us user ID to edit. Now we get the user ID. We can fetch that user data from the list. Okay. But one issue is here. So whenever we update anything like name field or email field, that time this will get lost. To keep it, we have to use useref. So what useref do? Useref hold the value. Okay, even after the components get re-rendered. Okay, and okay, so in use effect, this is the condition when this is edit form, and there is a edit ID present, but edit ID will be present in dot current property. Okay, as we have used user. Fine. Now we need list of users. So how we can get? We can get that from the use app selector. Okay, from here we can get. So here we get the state dot user, and we can destruct it list. Yeah, so we get the list here. So from this list, what we have to filter? We have to filter only one record which have this ID, this ID, user ID to edit dot current. const user record or user data. Okay. So if it have that record dot length, there can be case like it doesn't have the record. So suppose now I have only two records, but I edited the this field with any value. Okay, so now we don't have this record user with this ID. That's what we are checking at this line. Okay. And what we can do is, it means if our code comes at this place, it means it has the user data. So we can call set name user data 0 dot name, and here we need to pass email ID, email set email. Okay, let's check now. I'm editing John. Okay, so here the name and email is ID taken. I click on the journey. Okay, fine. And also the button text is also updated. And if I click on add user, it is taking as a create. So in next video we can post that or edit that. We can call the edit or put API. Okay, so in continuation with that, what we can do, on clicking the submit button, we can update this record. So on submit form, here we have to check that is edit form, this property is true. Okay, if this is true, then we will update that, else we can create that record. Okay, here we need to write update the record. Okay, so for that what we need is, we need a like API to edit the record. So here we can do that. First create the API, export const. So first create a function to call the API, update user. Okay, async we need ID of user and data. So ID is a number and data is user form. Okay, so again we need this type of URL. Now return await HTTP service dot. To update the record, we need to call the put. Okay, and first parameter is URL and the second one is data. Now we can call this update user API. This is the function. Now we need to call this from the action method. Export const update user action, again async, name it user slash update user action and arrow function. This is async. Let me format the document, and I need to call the update user API
from user service. There I need to pass ID and data. So I can take that here. How? In this way, ID and data. So it don't have like type. So what we can do is we can create the type for it. Interface I update user action props. Okay, props. So here we need ID, which is of number, and data of user form, and we can mention it here as okay. So okay, so we can mention it here as like some user data as I update user action props. What we can do is we can restrict it here only, like ID and data. Fine. So and this data will get passed to API method. We need to await here. Once it is done, we have to like return the response. Const response and response dot data. Okay, and okay, we can move this to type file. Where is the type file? Okay, here, and export it. User slice file, we need to import it, and in extra reducers we have to write the case for it. So update user action dot fulfilled. I am writing only one. You can write again other state and okay, only state, because I don't need that data, because I am not manually updating in a list, as we are calling the list every time whenever user click on the dashboard. That's why. Fine. For now I am not writing anything here. Or else do one thing, which we can create the similar create user form status. Okay, we can use this property, or we can create one more similar to like this. So in user state I can create one more that is a update user form status API status. Okay, dot ideal. So we can update it here. API status, I am making it ideal only, but pending, that time I can make it loading. Let's add the rejected as well. Error. Okay, error. Fine. So what we can do is, whenever user click on the user button, we get to know that update user form status is loading. So what we can do, we can disable this button. Okay, so disable this button, so user should not click it twice. We need to get that property from user state. create user form status and update user form status. So we need to disable whenever like create user form status equals to is API status dot loading or update user form status is also in a loading status. Okay, then only disable the button. So what is happening now? On clicking the submit button, this function gets called on submit form. Here we are checking if it is a edit case, then we need to dispatch update user action, and there we need to first create the data for it, which is of type I update user action props. Here we need to pass ID, which is of type which we already have here at some place. We keep it user ID to edit and data. Okay, so this data we can create at the top. Let me rename it updated data or dirty form data. Okay, now what happened with this ID? Okay, user ID to edit. This can be like a number or empty. That's why I think. Okay, sorry. We need to take it from the current. Now we can pass this dirty form data to this section. Yeah, I think all done. The data should update. Let's check it. So I need to update Johnny to Johnny1. Update it. Okay, let's go. Okay, update it. And John to John Emilia. Update it and check in the dashboard. Yeah, so it is updating. Now what we have to do is we need to show the messages here. Okay, we will do that in next video.